Who said you can't go home? Real Estate Exposed, brought to you by Signature Real Estate. Real Estate Exposed is all about helping homeowners and those who would like to be homeowners and those who would like to get into real estate.
You can.
Welcome to Real Estate Exposed, brought to you by Prosperity Lending and Signature Real Estate, where it's more than just real estate and more than just lending.
Ooh, I like
nailed
that.
it. Very good. I'm joined in studio today with none other than Shelly Panzarella.
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
And our very own Tom Blanchard.
Very own Tom Blanchard.
Very own.
I think he and I go way back longer than you and I.
Yeah.
Yeah? Why
Which
are
is
you
crazy.
yelling? I'm just kidding.
What's up? I can't hear you.
Yeah, you can hear me. Come on. Yeah, you guys have known each other a long time.
A long time before your political. And,
when you
no,
first
actually, he was on my
you
ARIA board.
You first started out.
Yeah.
I'm talking to the
Closer.
mic,
Yeah,
Tom.
thank you.
I can hear myself.
But we'll pick you up in all the other
Am I a
mics, and we'll have
newbie?
this echo problem, and it'll be a disaster.
No, you were the one that volunteered me to join the Asian Real Estate Association.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I was the banner stand girl for many years. And then you promoted me to actually be the chapter president.
Yeah.
And you were my what part were you on our board? Marketing, membership,
Membership, marketing, or political. I don't know.
political. You were
One of those
political
things.
affairs.
Yeah.
That's right. Because you were so into the politics then. You still are.
I still am.
Glad to have you here.
Well, you know what? It's so nice to be here. It really is.
I feel like I interrupted you guys.
I know. We're like reminiscing here.
Your reunion, yeah. So that's cool.
You think we'd never seen each other. So what are we
you?
going to chat about, Tom?
Oh
Why
yeah,
does it have to be me right off the
let's
bat?
talk about you, Tom, because I heard I was at this roast this last weekend, and I think you even mentioned it. Everything's got to be about Tom, right? So let's make this show about you.
That was
Yes.
that was one of the jokes. Yes.
Yeah, that was a fun night. So it was for RPAC.
Yes, it was. It was for our Realtors Political Action Committee, and to raise some funds, and we raised some $20,000 that night.
Wow. Just in
Just
roasting
to
you?
have people talk.
Everyone, it cost $10
crap
a
about
joke.
me.
$10 a joke.
No,
and
it
there,
didn't. No, it was a great event because
I heard.
Tom was gracious enough to allow everyone to roast him. It takes a special person to be roasted. I'll tell you that for sure. And typically it's kind of been a past president or something. I think this was the third one that's been done.
Yep.
This one was not sanctioned or sponsored by our association because one of the last two went kind of ugly. So we brought it back, but not through LVR. But there was a lot of people that attended, and a lot of people paid some good money or donated a lot of good money or invested in RPAC so that they could roast you.
Yeah, it was about 150 people. The place only held 100, but we were able to squeeze an additional 50 people in there, so it was fun.
What a great venue too.
Yeah, the
Was it?
space is a great venue to have an event at, or they have Monday's Dark there.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Events.
Katie from Golden Knights performs there.
Yeah.
Does she?
Yep.
Doesn't
So-
somebody from the Golden Knights own it?
I
Like
don't know.
one of the announcer guys
I
or something?
forget the announcer guy. I forget his name. Michael something or other.
Owns it?
Yeah, owns
Oh,
the
I
space.
didn't know that. Cool.
And great guy, great venue. It was a great event.
It was all about you.
It was funny 'cause-
Everything, Tom. So outside in, I heard it was, because I wasn't able to make it because I was trying to get in too late. I didn't realize you're squeezing in 50, but I would have been 151 if I were trying to get squeezed in there. Although I could have showed up as your sidekick. I heard you had a couple of
You
women
would
on
have
your
had to
arm.
dress a little bit different.
Wait, what are you saying?
There.
But I did hear you guys, the way that it was promoted, also that when you guys got in there, you guys kept everybody's cell phones. And people, one of the best things about that, not because people couldn't take videos, but they had to pay attention. Go freaking figure. And that it was such a great experience that they could actually enjoy it instead of worrying about their phones.
It was neat because nobody took anyone's cell phones, but they had these little cases that you put your phone in. You kept control of it, but it locked it.
Oh.
And so it was in this pouch.
Yeah.
And so you couldn't access your phone. But the neat thing was you could just be yourself, have fun in there.
Yeah.
And you see no social media posts inside the venue. You see them outside before they let them in, but there's none inside, which is really cool.
But I mean, so you watching it, like it's a different, because we're so used to being on our cell phones at all times, right? In little things, even if it's a text that pops up or you want to just, like people go to concerts and videotape the concert and not pay attention to the concert. You know what I mean? Like for safekeepings. But that was one feedback was that you guys took the phones away, which in the beginning was a little tough for some, but they were able to really experience the whole event.
Yeah, and it was dual-sided, right? We wanted to be able to promote it afterwards, but during the event, I mean, there was no distraction. If you bombed with a joke, everybody heard you bomb on the joke. So
and no one outside the venue did, so it's cool.
Yeah,
that's funny.
So I mean, just the limited 150 people saw it, which leads out of 20,000 real estate agents in the state. The potential for another one that may be a statewide kind of event at maybe one of our state conferences or something like that in the future. So we'll see, because a lot of people missed it. A lot of people have heard great things about it.
Yep.
I don't think the jokes really go away. So I think they'll always be there.
But that's a small knit community now that all has the same, that got to experience the same roast and all of your jokes and got to know you a little bit more personal.
Yeah, what was nice, I think, for me, was that the people on the dais, the people that were doing the roasting, ended up roasting each other a heck of a lot more than they roasted me.
Really?
Oh, absolutely.
So
That's funny.
yeah, a roast. If you're one of the roasters, it's game on. Somebody can roast you too.
Oh, you're
and say
free.
some
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
And
Free game
everyone
for them.
picked on everyone on the stage, which was fun. They even poked at me a little bit.
Really?
in
Did you not
signature. Yeah, it was
participate in the
fun, though.
roast?
Huh?
Did you not participate in roasting him? Or
No,
you do
I
it every
didn't.
day, so it's
They asked me if I wanted to because it was one of the sponsors, but I get a roast Tom every day.
yeah, that's what I figured
No, I
too.
thought it's good to hear from other people.
Yeah.
And besides that, I don't like getting picked on, so.
Oh, he didn't want to be participating in the community roasting of each other. So I don't think they could do that being the president. Could they roast the president? At the
Sure.
time?
He gets roasted every
They
day.
do in the U.S. They do in Canada.
Let's go, Brandon.
Have you seen the
Nobody's
news
off
lately?
limits.
I know. No, I don't watch the news.
No, they had some funny jokes about me. Even the one I remember the most, or I thought was funny, it just says Brandon collects past presidents like Tom Brady collects Super Bowl rings. It was funny. And then
It's
they made
not
fun
wrong,
of
though.
signature because that's where all the past presidents go to
Exactly.
die.
Yeah, they show up here.
Put them out to pasture. Yeah, so it was kind of funny. But it
So-
was good, and there was a lot of people from up north, Reno and
Oh,
and that
really?
area that actually came down for it. Yeah.
Wow.
It
Well,
just
you're-
shows how much people love you.
I was just going to say that. I mean, truly, we all give you a hard time every single day and every opportunity we can, but there's so much love. I wasn't in the room, but I know that I heard there was so much love. Even though they were jabs, they were still jabs of love.
Everybody
well
loves
respected.
to, come and see, a train wreck, and it could have been a train wreck. It turned out to be really, really good. The jokes were within realm of some
Normalcy for you?
yeah. There were some things that happened that I was unaware of. I did not know I'd be sitting with two prostitutes on stage for the whole event, but
They were
The
actresses.
whole of it?
They were
So
actresses.
that's so funny. I actually went to Quinceañera this Saturday and I get introduced and she's like, so do you know Tom Blanchard? And I'm like, I sure do. And she's like, yeah, I was his hooker this weekend. And I'm like, or this week. And I was like, well, that's a weird thing because I know his wife also. And she was like, she was there too. And I'm like, this story could get really, really, really bad. I'm like,
Taken
oh,
out of
you were.
context.
yeah, and my wife was a good sport. I mean,
She is, always.
She was right there at the front row and making her own comments. And
I'm surprised she didn't roast you. But she'd probably, that's every
I get roasted
24/7.
every day from her.
That's when it could have gone bad.
Yeah.
She's like, she wasn't going to pay money for that.
So no, it was great. It was fun, and people started saying, next is it going to be me? I said, hell no, we're going to do Chris Bishop. So I'm already lobbying that direction or for somebody else. So
Yeah.
like I said, I don't take getting picked on very nicely.
Yeah. That would be hard for me too. So, I mean, really, you must have a thick skin to take that in. Or you just all know it comes from love.
Well, it just is what it is. I mean, you can either have a bunch of people gossiping behind your back, or you can let them say the stuff that they're gossiping about.
Well, in that case,
a
I'd like to
public
be the
venue.
next participant for the roast.
And Well, let's go on to the next topic about Tom.
Which one? The siesta?
No, he went to the Siesta too.
I went to the
Siesta.
the Siesta cruise.
Yeah, you're definitely ingrained in all of the real estate stuff here.
I try to be.
And you went to
Yeah.
the Chipman wedding.
Went to
Wait, is
Look,
but that wasn't sanctioned either, right?
Wasn't sanctioned. Neither's the Siesta.
Oh, it's
Siesta
not, okay.
wasn't. And I'm lucky enough to have a great company that I work for and a great boss. And let me get my little, kiss, ass kissing out of the way.
Hope you're
Yeah.
listening, Chris.
Well, as long as you wear the shirt, I think you're fine, right?
And it allows me to do this stuff and represent Signature while I'm there.
Yeah.
I leave tonight to go to the Bahamas for an NAR event, a political event there.
The President Circle.
President Circle for being a investor in RPAC at a certain level. And, we'll listen to Frank Lutz. Is one of the speakers. There's several senators. This
Wow.
is basically
He's a pollster, isn't he?
Frank Luntz is, and then some senators. And this is what, in politics they call going on a junket. So, the senators that we have coming to talk to us, get to be paid to come to speak. And, they speak to us about what's going on and what their opinions are. So we get to have some face-to-face time with
Nice.
those politicians. And
That's different than when you go to the Hill, right? When
Correct.
you guys and sit face to face with them. So this is them actually talking to you about what they've got going on.
Yeah, and it's from different states, right? When we go to the Hill in May to D.C., that's talking to our own state senators and congressmen
Yeah.
and women. So it's a little bit different. You get a little bit more of I don't want to say a little bit larger group of senators that are outside. So we get to hear what's going on in
Across the-
Connecticut
yeah.
or Nebraska and.
So will you come back on the show, or you to tell us how the Bahamas was?
Absolutely. Look,
When he sobers up.
Yeah,
When
when
he-
I see
I notice you're already tanning for it, though.
think you
look,
just
I've
stay
been,
that
on, I've been on a
color.
cruise.
Yeah, I was
and,
gonna say.
to
Cabo?
to Cabo,
That was November.
and then to Cancun for a wedding. So it's I'm getting some
At least your
color.
passport's getting some use.
My
use.
passport's filling up.
Yeah, got all
But the
the stamps.
Bahamas, I got to tell you about the Bahamas. It's been tough. We had to get a travel visa and go on to the Bahamian government's website, which is interesting in its own, and provide them with vaccinations, provide them with a new test.
Today it's still that way? Like for you to go now?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so we had to
countries
provide
have
them,
different
provide them with all their stuff and pay a $40 fee to be covered while we're there in case we do get COVID, right?
Oh, for
Because
the
it's-
hotel and lodging
it's
for the
social-
Like a
COVID
health
stay.
insurance,
Yeah,
right?
socialist medicine, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
They're having us pay a little bit whether or not we get COVID, but
Interesting.
we're covered in case that happens, and it's pretty cool, but it's still a pain in the butt.
Do you have to test to come back in to the
Yes.
States? You do?
Yeah,
Oh.
we got to test 3 days before we travel, test 2 days after we're there, and test before we leave to come back.
Wow. Wait, how long are you there for? A whole week?
Yeah.
3 days. It's all
3
testing.
days. You test right when you get there and then
Yep.
test right before you
Yep.
leave to come back to the United
Yeah,
States?
because that's for the United States to have
Yeah.
a
Wow.
clear-
So you have the Bahamas qualifications going that direction, then you got the U.S.
yeah,
coming
U.S.
back.
coming back.
Wow, that's worse than going to Hawaii. Hawaii was pretty tough, I thought, going in, but coming out, they didn't care. It's domestic.
It's because you didn't really leave the country.
Yeah, yeah. Cabo, though, is easier. You don't need any of that stuff going in a Cancun
Not going
or Cabo,
in, just
right?
coming back.
Yeah, just the test to come back.
That's the same with Costa Rica.
Yeah.
You do have to have the travel insurance to cover you if something happens or prove that you've been vaccinated. Because what they don't want you to become is a burden on their government or their society.
So are they wanting you to all your boosters and stuff, or just a vaccination?
Just the vaccination. I haven't gotten boosted yet.
Because at Hawaii now is requiring boosters.
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah, which I think is crazy because
I've been traveling so much, I was afraid that if I got boosted, I'd pop
Get
positive or something.
You got to pick the place you want to be positive, right?
Yeah.
No,
so
that's pretty
you're leaving
miserable.
tonight,
Yep.
and then festivities start tomorrow.
It actually starts like Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
So I get a day there. We
hang out.
get there around 11 o'clock in the morning, Bahama time, and get situated and squared away so that we're not all what do you want to call it? Travel weary.
Jet lagged.
Jet lag when everything happens.
So is it just you coming from Vegas, or is there anybody else that you're traveling in?
Oh, my son and my wife.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. You always have them.
And
as your-
half the board.
And half the board
A lot of people from the association are going.
are going in. Okay,
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah.
Anybody
A lot
else
of people
from the office?
pass on this trip though
Yeah, I don't
to
know
the
why.
Bahamas. They go different places every year, right?
Yeah, the big ones always goes when they go to Hawaii. Everybody loves going to Hawaii,
Yeah.
and that was set for 2020, and I didn't get to go.
They didn't bring it back. Hawaii
Not
one?
yet.
But this isn't your first President Circle trip, is it?
No, my first one was in New York, I believe, way back
So
when.
is it based off of how much you've contributed, or is it because you're
If you're a major investor and then you want to be a part of the
Investor.
President's Circle, you have to
It's an additional investment.
additional $2,000 investment
Oh,
that
okay.
goes directly to the senator or congressman or woman or the Republican senatorial campaign or the
you
Democratic
get it.
senatorial campaign.
You actually get to choose. So
Who
like
you-
when
Where
you
that
do
money
to
goes to.
RPAC, you put
Yeah.
into a fund and it goes to realtor-friendly candidates.
yeah?
Here on the President's Circle, you take that money and you actually get to pick the candidates you go, and it
Wow.
doesn't have to be in your state.
Well, that's
So
pretty
there's
cool.
approved
So you're
people on the list.
meeting those candidates now that you're going to apply to. You've already made that decision to apply that. Who you're going to apply to?
Though I've never, some of the ones that I've donated to, I've never met,
Okay.
but I always get a nice little letter from them coming, oh, thank you for your contribution. And
Yeah. Is this your first time being an investor in the President's Circle? Have you done it? For
no,
years?
I've been in President Circle since 2016, I believe.
Wow. So that's when you. That's awesome. So that's a much larger investment than commitment.
It's an
to-
additional $2,000.
Oh.
It doesn't have to be because I mean, a major investor
Is
let's just say
1,000?
you did the $1,000 range, it's another $2.
Yeah.
If you do the 5,000, it's just another $2.
Got it. And you get to go to wherever they have these.
Yeah, I mean,
conferences.
again, you pay $625, and that covers your room for the 3 days and all the festivities, the
Nice.
breakfast and stuff. So it's a pretty good deal. There's a little skin in the game for you,
Yeah. Yeah.
and some of the funds that they have that are invested back into the folks that say thank you for investing.
But the experience, and then you have all the different conferences. They're going to have meetings and everything like that. Your wife and your son are not attending those. It's just you.
No, I have. Yeah, I'm there for business. They're there for enjoyment.
Pleasure.
And,
Yeah.
breakfast is at.
You'll have your share of enjoyment.
I know.
Breakfast is at 7:30 in the morning. So, and
they won't be
things
waking up.
kick off at 8:00.
And they're done by 9.
9 at night. If
morning.
right. Oh no.
Oh, I don't know.
really?
I don't know.
By noon.
I've
noon
been
to
part
12,
of President's Circle
12,
before,
12:30.
but never
Yeah.
traveled on it.
Yeah. 12:30. It's done.
Yeah.
Oh, so you still get
The
time,
afternoon.
and then you have like an evening.
And an
meeting
event
together?
mixer.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. I think that's the thing. People. I mean, you're investing also in the relationships that you're
Oh, yeah. I mean,
establishing, and
You're there with like-minded people that care about personal property rights and making sure that the senators and congresswomen are on the same page and understand what's going on, and they're doing what they can.
so what do you think is going to be a big topic out there? Affordability.
Of course, I mean, let's
Renter
face it.
nation?
Right now, housing affordability is a big thing. Landlord-tenant, which is more of a state issue, is a big thing. But housing affordability and what we can do to help unlatch or release some of the land, especially here in Nevada. Right, we have so much land that's tied up with the government that it causes us not to have enough land, and increases the cost of land because there isn't a lot of it available for purchase. So by allowing accessibility to the land will help increase the affordability of properties, because the cost of the foundation of any home, which is the land, to be a little bit less expensive.
But that's local. I mean, we're seeing the same issues across the country with affordability too, because of the rise in the rents and the rise in the cost of homes.
Yeah.
And it's statewide, but it's a national issue that needs to be addressed, especially for Nevada. The only way to let the land come out of the holding of the government is from our senators and congressmen to have that approved and get it. They have land bills that come across, and everybody's got to approve it. And it's a little bit of a pain in the butt, but it's something that needs to be done.
When was the last time we had a major sale on land here, or release on land? Was that when not Cadence or Inspirata was a big one, right? But
Yeah,
I think something's been built.
They've been doing land exchanges, right? You exchange some obtuse piece somewhere in the middle of nowhere for a piece over here in Las Vegas to help do that. So it's just been weird. They just haven't let, like the old days where you can come and homestead a piece of property. That hasn't happened since chuck wagon days.
But we still have quite a bit of land that needs to be built on that's there too. They're having a hard time getting homes built in an efficient manner, I'd say, to help with some of the.
Because of all the supply or the construction costs and the labor.
Even finding the workers. So
all the supply chain cost. We had an article on that in here somewhere that talked about it.
that was a good segue too.
It was a good
But
segue.
we'll come back to it when we find the article.
I know. Let me look for it really quick. But do you even if they do come out with the land sale, right, and they prove that, they still have to sell it for a fair price,
They go for auction.
not really what the market is selling it at today.
No,
Because then it still would mean it would still be unaffordable hard for a builder to build.
And that's, again, one of the issues, because
Yeah.
there's such a pent-up demand, not only for land but homes, that it doesn't pencil out for a developer to build an affordable home, because the land costs make it already outrageous to be able to do that. So you need to have different things, whether it be tie-ins for utilities, the fees that the states charge. The whole thing, it just keeps adding up to make it impossible to build something that's affordable unless you have some kind of tax relief somewhere.
And so that would be influenced by some of the people that you're going to be meeting.
Yes, at the federal level for everybody.
Yeah.
Right. And then when we have meetings at the state level for them as well.
April.
And then down to the county level. So, it's all three phases at the national, state, and local, which Brandon has great contacts now for the local ones to help, release and figure out some deals.
Is that what you're,
that we can get going on.
So that an LVR president has that type of influence in having
I have contact
communication?
with Tom.
Yeah.
Tom is my leader.
You're his boss.
He's
your boss?
He's going to be president of the Nevada Association next year.
Next year, right?
And it's a political year.
Yep.
So it's a big deal.
Yeah. So we'll be leaning on you next year.
Well, we'll see
So
what
if
happens.
things go bad, it's his fault.
It'll be all
things
my
go
fault.
good.
It's on fire, Vegas. That's all I remember.
It's on fire. Then I go into the oven.
Yes.
It's been the market's been increasing since your year.
Yeah, we had the dip during COVID, and when everything stopped, and they thought the world was going to end when they shut everything down.
Yeah.
And from there, it's bounced back and hasn't looked back. And I don't see it really stopping too much. It could slow down a little bit. It's a little bit too fast, but that's okay. And when it does, they'll call you up and say, "Why is the market changing?"
You know what's funny though? So December was a record month. January was a record month. I'm anticipating February will probably be a record month as well. But the calls I'm getting from a lot of the media is it's questions about, when do I think the market's going to crash? When do I think the market's going to crash? That kind of stuff. I talked to a reporter last week, and man, he had a whole different perception on the market than I did, or what I believe is really happening. So he felt like it was pretty much coming into doomsday. So
when do you think the market's going to crash?
I don't.
You don't have an answer for. Oh, okay.
I don't have a crystal ball.
Oh, right.
I do.
You do?
I always
when
have.
do you think the market's going to crash?
And this is based off of prior years when we had the last downfall. I think we're at least a good 5 to 7 years away
From a market correction?
From a good
Crash.
market correction, yeah.
And
So I would agree with you to a point.
5 to 7 years,
But there's
cool,
so
I'll be
many
out by
outside
then.
factors that could affect that.
I mean, and that's just
barring a disaster of some sort.
like a global
probably
pandemic?
even
That didn't have a chance to stop us.
even
No,
a
but-
pandemic didn't stop housing
Right.
that badly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so-
Lit it on fire. So you're thinking 5 to 7 years too?
Yeah, at least, yeah, I think a good
For
5
the
years.
like a crash like we saw in 07?
No, I don't think we'll ever see a crash like that.
I do.
You do?
I don't
You
think
do?
it'll be 5 to 7 years, because if you go back in history and you look at the savings and loan tobacco, and you look at the recession there, we tend to repeat ourselves, and I think a lot of that has to do with how money is lent out.
Yep.
And when we start going down that path, which you're already starting to see some things,
Like?
we talked about it on the last show, I believe, the 40-year mortgage.
Yeah.
Even those kinds of things could put people in positions that if there's a correction and they have to sell, they don't have the equity. That's what starts to create that tumble.
Yeah.
So
gets people
as
to
long
walk
as
away.
money is lended properly, I think we're okay.
But I think when like 07, the rental market was so much better at the time, which is why people jumped out and they like the strategic default, right?
But why
They
was
left.
the market rental better?
Well, because we all had like 12 homes, right?
Because
Each
everything was
person had.
overbuilt, right? So
Yeah.
there was the supply.
Yeah, it
the
was.
supply was there, and so there wasn't enough renters for it.
Yeah.
So that's why those prices were down.
Yeah.
We're in the opposite now, and it's going to take some time, 5-10 years before we build up again. Natural growth of population and everything. So
Yeah. But do you think the builders can ever catch up?
they will.
You do?
Yeah.
You think that we're going to be able to come back to the kind of building production that they had?
Yes,
Or you think
and
they'd
that'll
want to?
happen probably
In 5 to 7 years?
5 to 7 years.
See, there you
Gotcha,
go.
Tom Blanchard.
It all comes around.
Yeah, and you have lending programs now are starting to loosen up. And
They are.
and that's the same stuff that happened 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Right, lending
but
loosened
it
up.
has to happen if you want to keep the prices up.
Yep.
See, that's the problem is when you create these programs, it allows for the prices to continue to rise. If you don't create these programs, it causes for that natural correction of the prices to where people and that the buyers will buy. And so that's what drives everything out of control, I think.
But I think the lending side of it is also different because we have the 40-year, we even have a 40-year interest only, but it is not somebody who's doing zero down payment. You have to still put 20 to 25% down to take advantage of that term, that 40-year term today. Although, who knows, after you come back from the Bahamas, they might introduce a FHA 40-year term or a 3% down conventional 40-year term from an affordability standpoint. But today, what's come out there for lending standards is 40-year, 20 to 25% down payment. Most of those, those are going to be buyers who have the risk is gone, right, because of the equity
But that's
position.
the test, right? So if that starts to catch on, you'll see those. I believe you'll see those down payments shrink.
Yeah,
Because
we'll see.
it'll be there. The other thing is when you're doing the interest only, I think that hurts you too, because unless the market continues to climb, right,
Yeah, there's no
that
No
changes
equity.
things for you.
the equity piece. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So you're
But-
saying that
But on the flip side, how many people stay in their home for 40 years, right? So
some people stay 16, but that's one person.
You?
Yeah. So it could happen.
well,
40.
But you're already moving, so you're not going to make
We're
it 40.
trying. We're still trying to build that house, but yes, we intend to move one day. But yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. Nobody's, and I think the IOs before, oh no, they did convert. It was a 30-year IO, 10-year period interest only, and then it flipped into a 20-year, which then put them in a position of no equity and double the payment because it was a 20-year term.
Yeah. Well,
Yep.
crazy stuff.
And so we'll see what happens with the lending and building. Really sort of dictate
Yeah.
what's going to happen in the market.
Yep. I agree. It is kind of crazy though. I think even for the affordability standpoint, I think I sent this in there as far as April 1st, we're actually doing they're doing an add-on for second homes and investments. So investments have always been higher as far as interest rates, but for second homes, those are they had always been comparable to a primary residence, right? But I think they're now adding this, they're doing an add-on to pricing to but make it harder for people to come in to purchase and finance second home.
So explain that a
investment.
little bit, because you sent this article over FHFA hikes fees for high balance and second home loans. And this goes into effect on April 1st.
Right.
But that article you sent actually came out clear back in January. So it's been coming for a while.
It has been, yeah.
And so what does this mean? Is this just more money down, more money in loan fees at closing? What is this?
For a second home and an investor, their rates are going to be at least a half a point to full point difference. Investors
interest
today
rate
is
goes
about-
up.
Interest rate goes. So, and I think it's to de-incentivize your second home and investors from financing.
So
right?
that normal
your first-time home buyer or your owner occupants
has a chance.
Correct. Yeah. Or you're going to see a lot of cash transactions coming into the market because it's going to be so much, their rates are going to be so much higher. I mean, everybody was saying this is the time to buy second homes because the money's so cheap, right? They can get the same amount of lending at the same price as an owner-occupied person. So this is to open up for Fannie, Jenny, Freddie, the opportunity for their buyers, owner-occupant buyers, to have a chance.
Okay, so when I read this, I initially thought, okay, you got to bring 1% more to closing, but that's not the case. Your rate goes up.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so your rate's higher, and that goes to the thing where our people paying cash for properties was down over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
And the reason being was because
Money's so cheap.
rates were so
Yeah.
low, it was almost like free money. Why would you give up your cash
Absolutely.
to do that? So as
Yeah.
those go up, that encourages people to either use their own cash or stay out of the market.
Right. Yeah, so I think you're going to, because I think I read that cash transactions are up now, right? It was 20% last year.
It's climbing.
Yeah. So I think you're going to start to see that as the rates go up. If you're going to see, well, you've got the hedge funds that are coming in, but
Yeah, and that's an issue.
yeah, most of your second home and investment purchases are probably going to end up paying cash from either their investments they have, like their assets and such, or just not come into the market because the rates are going to be so much higher today. Yeah.
And it wouldn't be so bad if the hedge funds had invested when they needed to, when we had, the great,
Dip.
housing issues of 2006 through 2008. They came in and started buying. And if they had held them for only a 5-year term, we'd have the availability of homes for people to purchase because they'd be turning over. But they've noticed that they are able to keep those and have great returns on the rental parts. So therefore, why do that? So something has to be done to help incentivize the hedge funds to get out of this market, or at least turn the properties over in a certain period of time, so that allows affordability and availability to happen.
I don't think you're supposed to call them hedge funds, though. I said I don't think you're supposed to call them hedge funds.
What are they
I think
called?
they're institutional buyers.
Oh,
yeah.
buyers?
But a lot of these institutional buyers, a lot of this money is people's retirement. Like, it's not this big bad evil empire buying all this stuff up. These are funds of other people.
It's those
to
guys
get a
on
return.
Are you
Billions.
talking about like Enron
It's those
type
guys
stuff,
on
or
Billions
like-
on Showtime.
Huh?
It's those guys on Billions on Showtime.
Really?
Bobby Axelrod.
Yeah. It's those Bobby Axelrods that are causing the issue.
Yeah.
like the Big
They're
Short.
making money for their clients.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think people are, I was asking, even as a small, like mom and pop landlord, right? For myself too, I can increase my rents today, or I could capitalize on selling the house. But the flip side of it is, like, inflation is here. So really, will my money be worth anything if I cash out, right?
Yep.
Isn't my money better in getting this long-term
Well, it depends on what you're going to pull it out to
rental
do.
for? I mean, if it's just, yeah.
I'm gonna
let's-
pull it out and put it in my savings account.
Exactly.
That's not smart.
I'm going to buy a new car.
But if you knew it was going to crash tomorrow, then you pull out today, so that when it crashes tomorrow, you can buy 3 or 4 properties. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
but
but-
you'd have to hit that
Yeah.
timing.
I'm going to wait 5 to 7 years, and then I'm going to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
because
saying
Tom
that.
said so.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I just believe if you can hold on to it, hold on to it. I mean, real estate's a long time thing,
And
Yeah.
that's what's causing our availability problem, which causes the affordability problem, right?
So
Because
back,
everybody's
so
holding
back
on.
to,
Couldn't
we just need our
replace-
builders to build more
right? And so,
homes, and we
still
need our.
again, we buy into the whole whirlpool of what's causing the affordability issue, and that's availability of homes
And land.
because
How do we
everybody's
change
holding
it?
on.
How do we change it?
Well, he goes to the Bahamas and he meets
I'll
with
let
the
you know when I
senator.
get back from the
No, I'll tell you how
Bahamas
you
on
change it. You
whatever.
actually teach realtors or agents how to go out there and create more inventory. You got to have discussions with people on why is it a good time to sell or liquidate your property,
Yeah.
especially people maybe that are out of state, right? They have these properties. Maybe they're putting a lot of time and energy into them and cost because. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing because everybody that has a piece of property that's for rent right now is banking ATM. They're getting their ATM money every single month and not having to do
Not
much.
necessarily true.
You know, I mean, very few have an issue.
Yeah, I had to replace
with
an
all
air
this.
conditioning.
There's an art
unit.
to renting to the wrong tenant, right? And
Well,
causing the frustration.
None of our clients are having that
Just
problem.
kidding. No, there are plenty of tough tenants out there. There are
PMs, or
people that don't pay rent. There are people that trash properties too. And sometimes if you have the wrong property management company or you're managing it on your own, or hey, you're just a mom and pop type thing where you've just got another property and it's not making you any money.
Yeah.
It may be covering the bills or not quite. Maybe those are discussions that you have with people. But I think the real estate professionals should be having conversations with their clients or their customer database on what their goals are, because there could be some properties and stuff there as well. And then I think it's gonna get tighter before it gets better, because a lot of people aren't selling because they don't have anywhere else to go.
Yeah.
Right? To
Yeah.
find that other property. So a mind shift has to happen too, where we're allowing, or sellers are accepting offers of people that haven't put their home on the market yet, knowing that that's going to sell quickly. You know what I mean?
Meaning
so
the
that they
contingency.
feel safe to go
Yeah.
out. Let me go find something, and then when I find something, I'll sell my house.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that leads to the conversation of 1031 exchanges and how important those are.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I know that'll be coming up in the Bahamas is that conversation, because that's a federally mandated issue,
Yeah.
is 1031 exchanges and the tax deferment. So, take away that, and all of a sudden,
There's no incentive to.
Yeah. To
Yeah.
transfer or to sell
Yep.
with great
You've got
gain.
all the answers, Tom.
I
You
know.
take them
I
straight to the
know.
Senate.
Now we know why we
senators
all
up there.
love and adore you. See, you
Yeah,
got
I know.
this
I'm
whole.
just not a pretty face anymore, huh?
I haven't known you that long. I didn't know you when you had a pretty face.
Yeah, I know.
Just the roast is over. I'm sorry.
Back to you.
So there was another article that says rents rise, home prices, or rents rise, but home prices still outpace them, right?
Yeah.
And some of these things, it's interesting though, because some of the stats they use are from ways back, and these are new articles that come out. This was using the stats for September of 21, year over year, but
Probably even
it's
higher
still
now.
trending the same. But
Yeah.
home values here in Vegas went up 24.2% over that year period, and rents went up 22.5%, which in September of last year, basically in Vegas, they were saying the average rent, so to speak, was about $1,700.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So that's like so sales price wise, if you're going to get in $1,700, that's like $350 sales price. How many homes are on the market?
And the
at
median home
$350?
price is $425. so-
$425. Yeah. So we have a little bit of room to. Yeah. We're a little bit out of that affordability factor for our.
Yeah, I know.
But it's always a concern, right?
Yeah.
It's always a concern.
Yeah.
And we've got our best guy here going to the Bahamas to take care of that this week. And no, but
pressure.
seriously, I know you guys are having discussions at the state level on affordability and stuff like that as we go into the legislative session. I know that'll be a topic.
It'd be
that
a
we'll
huge topic.
Yeah, we'll be ready to discuss. And I'll just stay in my lane, right?
Yeah.
What lane would that be? The real estate side?
Out of
or?
the state stuff and the local stuff.
Oh.
Local association focus more on the local politics
Yeah.
here. So something, for instance, would be the Airbnb down here. That would be a lot done on the local level, whereas on the state stuff, they would be the big affordability,
I
housing
gotcha.
affordability stuff.
So
like
they don't necessarily care what you do as far as, or
that.
what
No,
happens
they
as far
care.
as.
We
Everybody
use
cares.
the same lobbyists and everything else, and there's
Yeah.
communication all the way around that. But in reality, when I joke with him a little bit about stay in your lane, there's you can't solve all the problems from one place. So
Yeah.
we all have kind of our missions.
But the message is all essentially the same. We need to fix this part, and
Affordability.
it starts at a local level, it moves to a state level, and then it moves to a federal level. Because if we're having an issue that several other states are having, then the federal people have to step in
Yeah.
to help.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those
That's
things.
right.
So it all works, and
And NAR's on that federal
yeah,
side.
and it
Always.
just works together is the best thing, and having that same message going across all three levels of whatever you want to call that government.
But NAR won't get really involved in an issue with
local.
Henderson.
Yeah.
Right. Now they may contribute some funds if there's a big deal or a big issue that affects realtors or property rights. Right. They may contribute funds, but it starts at the local associations on that type of stuff.
Do you guys you don't participate in Reno, but I mean, are they having the same types of issues? Like, do they have Airbnb open up there? Do they have the same types of, I mean, affordability across the board, right?
Yeah,
but
and not only affordability, but short-term rentals is an issue because in some place like Incline Village, where you don't really have the hotels there, right?
Seasonal, for the snow and stuff.
And they want more availability for short-term rentals because they can make money because they're not always there during the cold times or during the warm times up there. Same thing with Reno. They have a different kind of housing, and the casinos aren't as spread out as they are here in Vegas, where we have so many local casinos, that there isn't that competition that the short-term rentals bears. And so, and what makes it interesting at the state level is Clark County's issues are different than Washoe's issues. And so therefore, how do you sort of work that box so that it fits everybody's needs? And it's
a tough job.
Sometimes it's not easy.
Welcome to the party next year.
Crazy
Got it.
stuff. So, all fun. Politics are fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
that's why I'm not in it.
I read an article too, because you're doing a remodel.
I am.
On a house, right? I've been in one for months. But what was interesting is they talked about the new thing that's coming back in most remodels and new homes. Bars. Putting in a home bar. Are you putting one in your home?
So mine is not going to be a full wine cellar like yours, but
I have a bar and a wine cellar.
You have
I'm
both?
going full boat, yeah.
No, we are. So this home is older. There is a bay window. Do you guys know what a bay window is?
Uh-huh. I'm putting one in.
I know. What? So we're going to pull the bay window in and create it to be this little area that's going to be a bar with like mine is just going to have like the built-in wine cooler and area for the cabinets are going to have the area for all of your alcohol.
The bottles.
All that good stuff. But that's the extent of mine. Because today all my stuff is inside of a pantry. I have one little corner of an area that has all my bottles and such. But I want it all in one area for when you're entertaining or when you're just needing a night to have some alcohol.
A nightcap.
No, we have a mini fridge for that. That's
keep it under your bed. Is that where you keep yours? My
Is that
bar is
where
in
you
my
keep
bedroom.
yours, Beta? The refrigeration's tough under the bed, though. How do you keep it cold?
Keeps the room dark.
It does.
Doesn't heat up.
I can see the dogs getting into that too.
But I think that's kind of interesting because it's not like the old days where you just like I built a bar in my basement, and it was like this is like it's part of the house. I mean, people are taking out dining rooms and making entertainment areas and stuff like that. And they're saying that a lot of that's due to the COVID and people being home more, wanting more activities in their house.
So like me and my husband just hanging out. I'm like, hey, he's bartender on the
kids come home from school and you say, what would you like to drink?
I do see, with everybody, I mean, obviously we're open now, but before, you could only really hang out with like your close friends and such. And so entertaining inside of the home was like a much bigger experience than going out to a restaurant where you'd be able to enjoy a nice bottle of wine.
So the question becomes, are you guys behind the curve already?
With
I have a bar.
Because people are now starting to go back out to bars and
no.
Oh,
no.
meet with other people and socialize.
I just don't shut down the bars anymore. I go close my own bar down.
He doesn't even
I go
do
to
that.
dinner and have a few drinks and then I go home. Right?
But do you invite people home for to your home
you
bar?
haven't invited me over.
One of my best friends lives across the street. It's pretty easy.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Your bar or mine?
That's funny. Do you have a bar in your house?
Yeah, my son is upstairs to where my son apparently is entertaining all night long nowadays.
He has his own bar up there?
He's got his own bar. Yeah.
Wow. He has his own loft now up there?
Yeah. Loft, bar, rooms, refrigerator. He's self-sufficient.
So you have a short-term rental happening up at your house?
I just
apparently I'm renting rooms by the hour at my house.
It's a totally different.
Super short-term rental.
That's soon to come, actually.
Oh, that's crazy. But no, I'm excited. Like you said, I'm putting in a whole wine room. But
Where are you at with that? Is it almost done?
It's starting to take shape. Let's just put it that way.
I mean, rough
Wasn't it
framing was
already
done,
in shape, or
almost.
was it?
No, there was like, well, we knew where it was going to go.
Yeah.
But it's a build out on the house.
Yeah.
Right, which was kind of a cubby, and so it's all marked out, and we're getting ready to put the foundation in so that we can start.
Because you have to
bringing it
get
up.
the refrigeration and the humidity, or the
Yeah,
right
the
all
whole
that stuff
bit.
in there.
But I want it to be like a room that you could have dinner in. You could
Oh.
play
How much are you gonna
cards
rent that room
in.
for?
Huh?
How much will you be renting that room for?
Yeah.
Well, I am going to have wine lockers.
Are you
Yes,
really?
because I thought that'd be a cool idea. Like your friends come over with like wine
He's
and stuff.
taking this whole at-home bar to a whole nother level.
I'm excited. So I don't
That's
even have,
cool.
I don't even have shelves behind my real bar yet.
Yeah.
I just have a bar.
That way, if I bring over a good bottle of wine, we don't drink it, I can lock it up.
You can
until
lock
I
it
come
up.
back.
But can you? Oh, because it'll stay in. I got it. Because
Yeah,
it'll stay in your
there.
refrigerator.
So I just think it'd be kind of cool. I got the idea. Well, first time I ever saw one was at the Sterling Club. Bishop actually rented one.
Oh.
You know, and I'm like, why would you rent a? Because anytime you go in there, you have your own wine. And they open it and bring it in and the whole bit. So I thought that's a cool idea.
Yeah. Will you have it so you can have like good circulation for cigars and stuff, or
No, we
is
won't
it
be
just
smoking.
for? No smoking in there. Damn. Because Foundation Room had a nice little cigar
Mm-hmm.
lounge, and they had all their alcohol lockers. I don't think it was just wine, right? It was
They have cigar lockers.
cigar, and for
Yeah,
alcohol.
there's been a few places that had that. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. How much did they rent those for?
Oh, I don't even
Like hundreds of
remember
dollars a
anymore.
month?
Yeah, something like that.
What are you
I
renting?
think Sterling was. I won't be renting them. I'll be giving them to you guys.
Oh, really? We have our own lock, so
he
That
has
It's gonna be like-
ensures, that
As long as he
ensures
has
I
the
have
master
friends that
key.
people come over.
got it.
you have to be nice to me because you got a big expensive bottle of wine in that, and you got to get back into my house now. But no, I thought that'd be fun. So
Yeah, that's cool. So you're expecting it to be done by July 4th? Because that's when everybody's coming over for your July 4th party?
no, actually, big party, Memorial Day.
Memorial Day.
Memorial Day. So
Okay.
we'll be celebrating Mark, my friend across the street's 59th birthday, and my 50th birthday,
Oh,
and Memorial Day. So it'll be like a trifecta. Band. The
wow.
whole bit.
So he's got
mark
his
your
workout.
calendar, save the date.
What is
Got
it?
it.
May something?
May
20
31st
something. May
so,
31st?
May 31st.
ish.
Ish. Okay.
Yeah, but it'll be fun.
And the wine bar will be done by then?
It better be.
If you're,
I need to get a new
Do
friend.
you have? I was gonna say your subcontractor. He's on time. He's on
Yeah.
schedule.
No,
Your
it will
GC?
be. They're making great progress on it now.
That's awesome.
Anyway, how's your house coming?
We're making progress. We ordered our cabinets. We found our countertops. We measured everything, so we know how much flooring we need to purchase. We have the sliders on order. I feel like it's just going to be like April, May. Everything's just going to happen inside of the house, and then like
Nope. That's not
no,
how that works.
not gonna,
'Cause
no.
then you got
Things are
the
going to
workers.
trickle in. Things are going to get delayed. There'll be back orders. There'll be things that come in. They're damaged. You got to get back.
Damage.
There's a whole process, right?
Yeah.
But it'll start to take shape. It'll
I
come
mean,
in.
I'm happy that it's actually been a nice slow process, even though I'm making 2 mortgage payments. That's a little painful right now, but I'm waiting till, I can rent my new home my old home and be able to capitalize on that 22% rental increase. So I can rent it out to cover that and my new house. But I feel like we've gotten more certainty around what we want, which has been very helpful, because I think if we'd gone in and been like, okay, just do all this stuff, we probably would have been a little disappointed in some of the stuff. Because as it is, we ordered our refrigerators, and for some reason we thought it'd be cool to order them without handles.
What?
So
How do
the
you open-
doors open, like you press it and the door opens, but then when you pull it, you pull it, right? So the ones on display are like 24 inches. The ones we ordered are 36, which even now we're like, why the frick do we buy a big ass refrigerator? It's going to really be the 2 of us. Sydney will be off to college. So we're doing a lot of entertaining in our house. I was like, well, it's for all of our soda and our eggs and stuff like that. But we
eggs.
didn't bring, so as you open it on the bigger doors, it's harder to pull.
Right.
So we were like, well, why didn't you tell us about a handle? And he's like, well, we gave you guys the option to order a handle.
Yeah.
That's
so,
the thing. So, though, as you go through the process, they'll ask you questions, but you don't know what you don't know.
Correct. Yeah.
And for instance, it was like my front doors, right? Replace the front doors, and they said, "Do you want holes drilled on the other side?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, that makes sense." But why would you have holes drilled on the other side? You just need a dummy handle on the left side. Like there's 2 double doors.
Yeah.
Why do you need holes there? And why do you need the lock drilled out with a thing, so you have double deadbolts going both.
Just so
I
it
mean, it
looks
makes no
nice.
sense.
It confuses the burglar.
Well, it confuses me.
I was just gonna say,
But you know what I
Vegas
mean?
confused too.
It's like, why would you do that? Well, they asked you. Yeah, they did ask me, but I would have known, right? I didn't think
yeah.
about it. So if
Yeah.
I was to do it again, I'd be like, yeah, no.
Yeah. So you got them done with the double handle?
Yeah, it's done. So I had to buy a whole nother door set because a lot of these door handles don't have dummy sides to them.
Yes, right.
So now I got 2 working ones, but one of
doesn't
them's
work.
just kind of
It's a dummy,
for
yeah.
looks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aesthetic.
But it was just dumb stuff like that. It's like, why?
Yeah.
Because that door doesn't open all the time. It actually latches, and you don't need a handle there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I
it
didn't
looks
even think
good.
about that. I have a double door, and I didn't know that. I actually have to look at both of my hardwares. I don't think I thought
It's just
people
there to
were-
confuse the dyslexic burglar.
Yeah.
But, you know, so
your
it's
neighbor
stuff like
constantly.
that, just like your fridge. I mean,
You don't think about it.
it sounds like a great idea. Okay,
Well,
you asked
Yeah.
me. That's
A
an
little
option.
JB Weld and some BS handles, and we're good to go.
I was like, can I just glue some handles on there? And we're like,
Just put ropes on them. Pull them.
just those kick doors now that they got those new things where you don't have to touch the doors. They have like a little
The
kick
good
down.
news is, though, you never really have to open it anyway because you just order in, right?
Well, okay, so the truth is I'm starting to figure out how to cook
What?
so that I can learn how to use my kitchen. I know.
That's awesome.
Yes. That's what I've been telling my husband that's the reason why I want these nice fancy things. We bought nice cabinets, figured out where I wanted all the things, like how that was another chore. Like
Fun,
what
huh?
kind of cabinets do you want? Where do you want all your utility items? And I'm like, just underneath the cabinet would be great.
No.
But every single cabinet has purpose. Yeah.
Where did you have them designed?
ProSource for
Awesome.
the cabinets.
What
But
happens
that's
if you're a
kinda fun.
lousy cook?
I mean, I think with all things you get better, right?
Now she's got cabinets. Now they can go buy dishes and stuff to go in those
Totally.
cabinets.
I have dishes. I have 3 sets of pots. You've been in my
Still in
my
the box.
condo. So
Yeah.
we shut down our condo. We sold our condo in Bryan Head. We had a whole house over there.
Yep.
We brought all of those things to our current home. We'd already had 2 sets because somebody else bought us a set for our anniversary or something like that of pots. But we never, I don't know. We just have them in our house. So
3
one
sets
day
of
they'll be
pots.
used. We only use 1 set of pots. Do you guys have 2 sets? 3 sets?
We got quite a bit.
You do, because you guys cook a lot, though. You entertain a lot, too.
But do all your sets match? That's
No.
the key. See, I don't have any matching issues.
Like, not one full set that matches? I think that was something my mother-in-law...
No.
No? Okay.
We started that way, but
Oh, now they're
after the
almost
course of 15 years, stuff gets thrown away.
Time to get a new set.
Yeah, it's another set. Yeah.
Another subject,
Very cool.
another show.
What kind of cookware shall you buy?
I know. That's why I have 1 extra set, because somebody told me Rachel Ray's stainless steel, where it's the best way to cook. I burn every single freaking thing in those stainless steel pots, and so I
Because
never
you
used
can't cook.
Because I can't cook.
You got to watch
know.
it.
You
It's
do.
not it's
the heat
not
down.
a set it and forget it thing. You got to actually stir stuff.
I
and,
know. Yeah.
control
I'll
the
learn how to
gas
do
and-
that. Eggs and everything are
Yeah.
tough.
So have you guys ever used Slide Dial?
Yes.
Right? Have you? There's a service that goes straight to spam. Like you can send an email to somebody and it'll go straight to their spam.
Really? Why would you do that?
Because I want to invite everyone in the office to party, but I really don't want Tom to show up. So I want to send him the email, but I want it to go into his spam folder. Doesn't that seem like a great idea?
Well,
And
you
then when he
could,
goes, I wasn't invited, you say, I sent you an email, and then look at your spam, and then you find it
There
in
it
spam,
is.
and it's like, there it is. Dang it, I should have read my spam.
well, you could be like me. I always check my spam first because it only has like 10 to 20, where my general email has like 400 to, actually 40,000. So I go to my spam first because it's easier to.
Your regular inbox is your spam folder.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
Yes.
your
No,
spam.
but this is, it's straight, the number 2, spam,
Straight to spam.
dot XYZ.
Just to really
And
screw
so what it
people
does
up.
is it gives you some verbiage, right, that's guaranteed to be picked up by the spam filters, and you paste that in your email, but it's in pure white, so they can't see it. So you paste it at the bottom, and then you send it. So I
Get
thought it was kind
out.
of cool. But here, there's only one flaw. If you're in their address book, it doesn't work. So
Are you in his address? I mean, I assume so,
I
right?
think I
You
might
are
be-
part of the
I might be in
organization.
Brandon's address
if I'm in his, so I send it, I'm kind of whitelisted, so it doesn't matter what I send to him, it goes into his inbox, so it wouldn't work. But I thought that was kind of funny that
That
somebody
is-
had come up with that.
Yeah, so they're our next sponsor for. Yeah, somebody would come up with that.
Yeah,
Is
straight to spam.
He's even crazier. That's awesome.
Interesting.
Yeah. Do you use Slidell? What do you use Slidell for?
I can't tell you.
He's like, every
It's on
time
the
I call
slide.
you.
It's on the slides. The
Well,
deal.
I mean, I've heard, some agents actually use it as a form of their prospecting, right? They just they'll call in and it goes right into voicemail instead of having to have a conversation. I mean, I honestly use
God
it for
forbid
birthday
they
calls.
talk to anybody.
Yeah, I know. I was doing that in the very beginning, birthday calls, because I'm like, I have 20 to get through. 20, if you're saying happy birthday and they end up being 10-minute phone calls, could be a long time. But to your point, we need to talk to people now. So.
Well, yeah, but you use it anytime you want to give somebody a message, but you don't really have time for the chit chat necessarily.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's a good.
Isn't that
tool.
what text is for?
No, it's
true.
different. It's different because
It's a
if
personal
you take the
touch.
time to actually call them, sometimes that's different. Like she said, she used it for birthday calls in the past. She doesn't do that now. It's always she dials the number by hand.
All the time.
all the time.
But how many people call people on their birthday?
Or video.
They don't. They put it on
Most
Facebook.
of it's on Facebook or text.
Happy
Yeah.
birthday.
So
Yeah.
if you took the time to actually call them, they didn't answer because nobody answers their phone anymore. You left them a voicemail. That means a lot.
Yeah. But at least they see that you tried calling them.
Well, they heard.
Different than it just goes right into your voicemail.
So now I just send emails to spam. It says happy birthday. And then they go, you didn't wish me happy birthday. Just check your spam. I've been doing it for years.
There's a whole
Didn't
blanket
work.
of them for the last 10 years.
So what else you got on your list over there?
So you sent us the article for the 10 things to focus on in 2022
Oh, yeah.
to get your next level, to help you get to your next level. What do you think those are? One of them is nurturing your client relationships. Would that be actually having phone conversations with them instead of slide dialing them
Yeah.
and sending stuff into spam? Make prospecting a priority. Is that the number one thing you teach in your nuggets?
Yeah. I mean, it's all about prospecting and making sure you're top of mind.
They're watching your nuggets, too, because there was a lot of jokes at the roast on his nuggets.
Really?
His ninja nuggets.
Aww.
And if you don't know what those are, because that could sound a little dirty and expensive, they're sales tips. Tom's sales tip nuggets, and they're
Sales
posted
tip.
on our YouTube page.
But you do the ninja, you take them from the book Ninja Selling, right? Or they
After I
come,
get done with the series, I'll explain exactly how I put together the whole series, and you're
Yeah.
going to die laughing.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you still not done with that book?
No, I'm on 35. I think I got like 42 or 50
Okay.
part series.
Okay.
And I've basically broken down the book into several
Segments.
segments and basically talked about that segment.
Larry Kindle took his nuggets and wrote a book about it called Ninja Selling.
So it's actually Larry Kendall.
It's, absolutely.
That's funny.
He was your number one subscriber, right?
Yeah, and quite, you guys are doing a video social media
Yeah, video
class,
marketing boot camp.
right?
Beta. Yeah.
And so hopefully Beta knows my secret, and maybe he'll
He's
give
got
it out. I
a
don't
nugget
know.
or two in there.
He's got some nuggets.
It's not the
watching
teleprompter
me
secret,
do
'cause-
my thing.
That's not, no. All right, we'll have to figure out what your
Yeah.
nuggets secret are. Yeah, we're actually starting that March 7th. We're going to do it in a 4 series so that we can build onto it. In the very last one, we're going to get them all on video. What do you think about
Good.
them?
The last
apples?
one's when they sell you something.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah,
We're going to
well,
sell it to them in the beginning.
Yeah.
They're going to say,
It looks good. I was like, well,
you going to join us? Or you want to write it?
No. I'd have to find some book I can, I can take all the stuff from.
Now you just let your secret slip.
I know. Yeah. So something else in here says getting a buyer's agency agreement every time. What do you think that percentage is for buyer's agents that get their actual BBAs?
It's not enough. And
50%?
And quite
Good
honestly,
answer.
it might be something that comes up in 2023 legislative to have that. You have to have that done to work with a buyer.
So there's
The DOJ, isn't that what?
no, it wouldn't be DOJ. It would be a state law
Okay.
most likely. Utah, you're required to use a buyer agency agreement. And I think it's a good thing because you can't take a listing, right? You can't market somebody's house unless they've hired you to be their
Right,
agent,
yep.
right? An agency agreement. That's all buyer agency is. why should I be able to go out and try to represent you if you haven't hired me to represent you?
Yeah.
And so I think the buyer agency agreement, number one, is something that all agents should be doing anyway. But number two, like Tom said, I hear rumblings or it's in the air, why it's been so windy or whatever, that may be coming to a town near you.
Yeah.
That it'll be required.
Yeah, I think
So why
I think
wouldn't
it's
somebody
necessary.
just make it required, like organizations or?
You need state law.
We can, right? So if I required every single one of my agents to do that,
Yeah.
but XYZ Realty next door doesn't, you're hassling me. You're making it harder for me to do business. I'm just going to go over here. You see what I mean? So it's
Instead of you protecting their interest and
Right.
making them more money because they're spending more time.
100%. You can train them and train them and train them, but then there's also the people out there that saying, whatever you do, don't sign anything with any buyer's agent. You know, so
Really?
people are being conditioned not to sign with them. Well,
Wow.
this will change things. And I don't think it'll affect people's business because they already get a duties owed sign. And
Yeah.
many of those get those signed long before they even take somebody out. And so they get those signed. Why? Because the law requires it. And I think if the law required the buyer agency, they'll get better at it and they'll utilize it.
Yeah.
And I think that protects them, that protects the
And-
consumer.
Yep.
That makes a better transaction all the way around.
Yeah, and to add on to that, with the Department of Justice and all their stuff talking about having a seller pay only their side and a buyer paying their side, with that new transaction of the buyer, you should have that in writing because it's now legal, needs to be done, and should be done.
So that's what the Department of Justice is saying, is that the commissions would be paid for on either side.
No, what has happened is a listing agreement basically, in essence, yes.
Yeah.
But what has happened is the listing agreement is written for the listing broker and that consumer selling their home. They agree on a commission price, right? Or a fee for service, right? Whether it's a percentage or a flat fee or whatever.
Right.
Then that listing broker offers across the multiple listing service an incentive for somebody to bring a buyer. If another brokerage brings a buyer, the listing broker pays that other broker. The seller does not. The seller pays one fee to the listing broker.
Yeah.
Listing broker pays whoever. They spend that marketing however they spend the marketing. What's happened over the years is with separations into the listing agreement and stuff, this is going here and this is going here in the attempt for transparency for that consumer to say, okay, X number of dollars is going towards, you're going to spend that towards the buyer's side, right? The presentation of that's been from the agent going in saying, I only charge you X, what do you want to pay the other side? Well, you don't pay the other side. The listing broker does. And so now you get this belief from the consumer and the DOJ and everyone else out there that the seller is paying that commission. And they're not. The listing broker is paying that. And so now they're saying, well, if I'm paying that commission, why am I not able to negotiate that? Number one. Number two, why would I pay somebody to negotiate against me?
Yeah.
And they're not. So that's kind of that whole thing. So if you're using a buyer agency agreement, me as a buyer's agent, I know what I'm getting paid. I negotiate that
Up front
with my buyer, right? And then whatever is being offered by the listing broker, I apply that towards that, and that buyer's responsible for that difference.
But it's still the case today when they do have the buyer's broker agreement done, right? But does everybody collect on that full amount? Like, let's say it's 3%, but the listing broker only wants to pay you 2.
X percent and
Yeah.
Y percent.
Yeah. Or X
No,
percent. Yeah.
now that
sorry.
would be a business practice, right?
Yeah.
It would depending on how you sold that to your buyer or whatever, and if you wanted to pursue
Yeah,
that or
and
not.
even
But in
listing
essence, that
contracts.
buyer is responsible for that if
that
they
other,
sign that buyer
that other
agency.
Y. Yeah.
But if you look in our listing or our purchase agreement now, right, under the closing cost section, there's actually some verbiage in there now that allows you to ask the seller to pay additional costs for the buyer to be utilized for the use of that commission.
Huh. You guys have just added that in the.
We didn't just add that; it's in there.
Yeah, it's been there for a while.
Huh. Well, I mean, that's the first
So-
time I've really, the way that you explained it, I've never thought of it. I've always thought it was the seller paying both sides, right?
Right.
In your case, it makes sense. Where
And
they're-
in essence, who really pays it? The buyer pays it because it's wrapped up in their loan or their fees or everything else.
Or
It's
through
truly the
cost of
buyer's
purchase.
paying.
cost of the
Right,
sale.
it's
Yeah.
cost of the sale, cost of
Yeah.
the purchase, right?
Yeah.
But you have to be careful as an agent. You can't write into their seller to pay me the buyer's agent X number of percentage or more or whatever, it's an ethics violation because you're getting the seller to agree to pay that to you, and you're not a party to the contract. So it can be paid as a buyer's cost because the buyer has entered into an agreement that this is a
With the
true
seller.
cost for them, and that roundabout way it comes back.
But the funny thing is, it's okay for commercial agents to do that because they don't have the ethics chart stuff.
They don't have any real RESPA guidelines. I mean, because even for the commercial stuff, they can pay us as a lender, right? We can't do anything in reverse on that. But they know it. They're like, we're not under any of the regulations that the residential side is under. Like, wow, that's crazy. But it
Fun
should be
stuff.
the same, right? I mean, it's business consumer, but consumer. Wow.
But the buyer agency agreement really does protect everyone in the
Yeah,
transaction.
I agree. So something else on here is improving your tech game. What is the new app that you guys have, or what are you doing new other than your nuggets and doing more video? What would you say would be an improvement in your tech game this year that you've got, or last year?
Or any year.
I'm not a real app guy.
You're not? You're
No.
tech?
No,
You're using the mobile
no,
app.
no,
That's a
but
tech.
look, I'm more basic and front of your face, top of mind, and go from there.
Building relationships?
You know,
So I think obviously we put together a communication app
Yeah.
with our agents they could utilize with their clients. But I think being more tech savvy would be in regards of automating your business and using technology to help you
True.
along the line. So for instance, your CRM
Yeah.
and setting up your processes and your campaigns and stuff like that so that it works as your second brain and it reminds you, hey, you haven't called this person or you need to call this person. Those kinds of things I think can really help you in the long run. Are there great apps? Yeah, there are fantastic apps out there that can help in your business,
but you got to use them.
but you got to use them
Same
right.
thing with the CRM, right? You got to use the CRM.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think technology, if you utilize some of it and the artificial intelligence that's out there to help you manage those leads and stuff, I think you can get better results.
Yeah, and there's even some CRMs that are really AI. They have great AI features in them that this bot acts almost better than you or your assistant could ever be in how they respond to them. So I agree. The other thing they have on here is staying healthy.
Well, that's difficult to do.
I'd rather use an app.
You'd rather use a spam app, spam your email
No,
app.
but that's a good point, though. I mean, if you're not healthy and you're not able to be out there and you're not at your best,
Yeah. Physicality too, right? Even feeling good about yourself is the confidence that get you out there to door knock, prospect, talk to people, whatever the case would
Well,
be.
it's it's amazing how much weight you lose walking in the neighborhood.
It's good. How much exercise you get? It's crazy,
Sweating out.
right? Especially in our weather, right?
Yep.
100-degree weather.
We're fighting the wind.
I guarantee you're gonna
Today.
lose weight if you're out there knocking on doors during the summer.
Guaranteed. That's all I got. Focusing on the task, not the goal. You do talk a lot about that in the Ninja Nuggets or the Tom's Nuggets.
Yep. The goal will happen, but you've got to take the steps, which is the tasks, to get there, right? You're never going to reach a goal of selling anybody a property if nobody knows that you sell property. There's no
That's right.
sign above your head flashing that says I sell real estate.
Yeah.
There's no billboard on the 215 saying Tom Blanchard sells real estate. Call me, right?
I mean, you could get one of those.
Yeah, you could, but it costs money, right?
does,
So
yeah.
it's a lot easier to be doing the tasks that get you that recognition to help find those folks that have that need, which you can take care of.
I agree.
Wow.
It's like the old
Couldn't have
robots.
said it better if I tried.
I made a shirt, actually,
If you
that
see
says-
if you see a need, fill a need, right?
Yeah.
So
I-
that article was 10 things agents should stay focused on in 2022, and that was put out by Inman. So we
Give
didn't hit
props.
all 10.
No.
But if you guys want to find that, that's on Inman News. And
Well,
so
can we drop the link on that in our show notes and all that good stuff?
we can try.
Wow.
Friday we are doing our awards night, which is going to be pretty
Yes.
exciting. So I'm excited about that. And next week, stay tuned to hear some of the winners and some of the success stories. It's pretty
Because
Well,
we
I'm
have it all like tight in a sealed envelope. It's coming from the auditors of Roberts and Rasmussen and Bishop Group or
Yeah.
Bishop. Yeah.
and we're even going to tell you how the awards are calculated. We
Yeah.
make that shit up.
Really?
When do you get back from the Bahamas?
Saturday
Oh,
night.
so you are going to miss the awards
Yeah,
night.
I'll miss it.
Well, that's
I think
good.
Well, we're
actually
taking out your
Sunday.
walkout
I'll
sign.
be
Scratch
here
him
on
off the
Monday.
agenda.
I'll be here on Monday.
Yeah, mark him off. That's too bad. We were going to roast you too. I'm just kidding. You're like, all right, had enough of the roast.
We're
Seems
still
to be the
going
thing to
to.
do.
It's just funner when you're sitting
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we did it. We're there. Anything else you want to add on that?
Not me.
No? Do you have your
Thanks,
dress? Do you
Tom.
guys have your dresses? You're not going to be there. You have your outfit?
Do I have
Your
my dress?
tuxedo?
Do you have a dress? Do you have a dress for the gala?
I do.
The outfit? Yeah,
You're
Carolina's
gonna
got
be
her
sad
dress.
you missed it now.
Beta, you ready for it? He's like, changed up my tie.
Awesome.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you again, Tom, for coming
my
on our
pleasure.
show. Hopefully
Anytime.
you'll come back and share some of your highlights from the Bahamas, not just the not just the beautiful highlights around the scenery and stuff, but
We
from
want
what
the
you heard
dirt.
from your, we want the tea on the affordable housing and Renter Nation and when we're going to get some land here in Las Vegas. But thank you guys for tuning in today's show. Make sure that you like, subscribe, hit the notification button for all of our episodes, and we will see you next week. That's a wrap.